So, okay, so good evening. My name is Jennifer Weber. I'm very thrilled to introduce our two speakers tonight. The topic is just sometimes you just need to speak to someone who has been in your shoes. CF Peer Connect is a free one-to-one peer support program for people with CF and their families ages 16 and older. No matter what you're going through, there is someone who has been through a similar experience. Join us as the CF Peer Connect team from the CF Foundation shares how they can match you with an adult with CF or a family member with CF to talk about CF related challenges or just day-to-day life with CF. Claudia Rodriguez and Jillian Mosick are community support specialists for the CF Foundation. Claudia, based in Southern California, has been with the foundation for 18 months and works primarily with CF Peer Connect. She has a special interest in expanding the service to Spanish-speaking patients and families. And Jillian Mosick, NSW, based in Evansville, Indiana, has been with the foundation for 3.5 years. She works with CF Peer Connect and leads topic-based small group discussions for adults with CF. So without further ado, I think we had someone else join us. Lakshmi, welcome. I know he's in Charlotte, I think, at CF Care Center. So
Hey.
Welcome. I'm glad you could come. So I'm gonna hand it over to one of the two presenters, but we're grateful to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. We're always glad when we can share about the specifics of CF Peer Connect. Before I dive into a PowerPoint slide, because I know sometimes there's a lot of information on those slides, I just want to keep it top of mind that CF Peer Connect is just an opportunity for people to talk to people. And I want that to be the driving force for this presentation and what you walk away with. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then pass it over to Jillian. All right, can you see my screen okay? Perfect.
Looks beautiful. Yes.
Great.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay, I'm just going to give a brief overview of what CF Peer Connect is, but Claudia said it. It's really just us helping to connect people. We can be a mechanism to reach kind of a national audience, sometimes international too, which is interesting, but we want to be a resource for families and for people with CF. And family can mean a lot of different things, but for social, emotional, and practical support. So you're getting a lot of medical advice from the care center, and what does that look like to live out? So it's an opportunity to talk to someone and learn from someone else who's been there, whether it's a life transition or just living daily life with CF. Like CF Peer Connect is for everyone at every time, if you want that, if that's what you're looking for. It's personalized, so we have an individual call with each person who's requesting support, kind of get to know them and what they're looking for in terms of that connection. We can match as specific as possible, and sometimes people are generally like, I want to talk to somebody about around my age, and whoever you think is a good fit is fine. And some people have really specific ideas. It's flexible, meaning however this person would like to connect. Usually it's a phone call, but we can cater to some people maybe just feel comfortable texting or emailing too. It's short term, so it's for the match lasts for 3 months. Some are longer, some are shorter, but in general, that's the length. And mentors are really an amazing bunch. We have quite a few mentors onboarded, some of them for a number of years, who are incredibly supportive and open about their life with CF, whatever that looks like, however CF presents itself in their life, and really just want to give back to the community. So I'm going to read a quick quote from Kelsey, who's a mom of a young kiddo with CF. She says, regardless of where you are in your CF journey, you can find someone who understands, helps you feel more in control and part of a larger community. And that's what we hope people really gain from CF Peer Connect. It can be kind of isolating living with CF. So that connection we know is key.
Thank you, Jillian. You mentioned something about it being very specific and sometimes not as specific. Um, we do match around topics of interest. This could be like general life with CF, just what it's like to live with CF. Something that we sometimes do, especially with a parent of a newly diagnosed infant, is that we often make two matches for them. We may connect them with another parent of a slightly older child. And then we also connect them with an adult with CF, right? They're not sharing the experience because one is a parent and one is an adult. But by talking to someone who has various years under their belt living with CF, they really benefit from hearing what day-to-day like is like, what exercise looks like, what are clinic treatments, what CF has looked like for them. And they can also find a sense of hope from that connection and really get a better sense of what life could look like for their kiddo with CF. And so it could just be something general like that, or it can also be more specific, such as getting a G-tube. I know that that's a can be a scary process. We often hear it with CF Peer Connect. It almost feels like they want to hear how someone else adapted to that and how someone else maybe used GTube as a tool for weight gain, or they want to hear how they share about GTube with their teachers and how can they teach their kid to explain GTube to their friends, right? That's a specific CF transition that talking to another parent or another person can really help for that social, emotional, and those like practical tricks too. I want to specifically highlight the everyday challenges column, that yellow one, because we also have parenting and the caregiver balance, work-life balance, managing daily treatments. All of these can be relatable to parents with young children or with children with CF, but also to adults, right? So like what it's like to parent both children with CF and without CF, right? What it's like to parent multiple children with CF, as Jennifer, you can share about, right? That the second one might have a different experience than the first one. She was sharing with me about how her younger daughter, learned how to swallow pills quicker than the older daughter, right? And so like the parenting can change with that, as well as the caregiver balance. How can you balance taking care of oneself while also taking care of a young kid with CF? Finding time uh, to take care of oneself can be difficult, especially when working full time or working part time. Um, so all of these topics, this isn't an exhaustive list. If the topic's not here, we can still make a match around it. We would just, recruit someone, look through notes, try to identify someone that can speak to it. I really want to emphasize that piece because we can go very specific on these sort of connections. And then the last piece I, of course, want to highlight is the identity or the affinity piece. Of course, being eligible for a modulator or not being eligible for a modulator changes one's experience with CF, both as a person with CF and as an adult parent of a child with CF. And so we can also match around that, right? A parent just starting Trikafta, for example, now that the age is 2 for Trikafta, a lot of parents are looking to connect around that and what that would look like for their kiddo. But we can also make matches around the ethnic identity, right? We were talking about the Spanish expansion of CF Peer Connect. We can make matches with Spanish-speaking mentors, but we're also happy to make matches from one Latino to another Latino who wants to talk about and various things and connect at that level as well. And so again, we take a lot of things into consideration, and that's why we call them matches, because Jillian and I put a lot of effort into finding someone that can speak to the experiences that they're looking to talk about. And I'll pass it back to Jillian.
Yeah, so We hear from a lot of different peers and mentors. We have the privilege of first hearing from them when they get started and getting to have that individual conversation with them, but also hearing about their experiences throughout the match. We'll check in with both parties throughout. And we just have a quote to share from Catherine, who was involved in CF Peer Connect. She says, "It's been such a wonderful opportunity to find another family that's going through similar challenges to our own. It's been so nice to have a new friend that truly understands all of the work and love that goes into having a young child with CF. It was just the connection I needed at this point in our journey." So I think this speaks to several things, like you're going to want different things at different times in life whenever you need different forms of support. So sometimes people with CF Peer Connect, they want something, a few years apart, like, okay, I'd like to, now that my child's going through this thing, yeah, starting pre-K, something like that. We can kind of tailor to wherever people are on the journey. And I think it just speaks to the connection that two people can make. It's amazing just having that shared experience. I mean, you probably all know when you meet each other online, even though you might not ever see each other in person, that shared experience and understanding is so meaningful. Yeah.
Thanks, Jillian. I'm gonna go ahead and switch slides. So how does someone request peer support and how do they become involved with CF Peer Connect? It's 3 easy steps, which is just an online form, which I will show you how to get to that form shortly. It's a call with us, either me or Jillian, so that we can hear what they're looking for and what they'd like to have in common with a peer mentor. And then they just wait for a personalized match. Usually this is done within a week. We do put a lot of attention to the matching process. We reach out to the mentor to make sure they're available and then connect them. But again, it's just within a week. Once they're connected, they can choose how frequently they meet and what platform to use. We do encourage weekly calls, at least for the first month, but that's flexible. I know that the busy schedule of a parent can sometimes interfere with that, and I've had matches been done solely through voice message because that's what works for them, and they form a meaningful connection that way too. So and again, this whole process can be done in Spanish too, from the online form to the call with me to connecting with a Spanish-speaking mentor. And so to get to the online form, they go to cff.org/peerconnect and they get to this page. If you're an English speaker, you just scroll down in the bottom. It says Join CF Peer Connect, and it gives you a link. If you're a Spanish speaker, it's the link on the top blue banner. It's actually the same link, but there is language at the top with Spanish language. That takes us to our platform, and here is our platform where if you want to provide peer support or ask for peer support, all they do is click that yellow button that says Join CF Peer Connect. And again, they can choose their roles. We might have parents on this call or within your network that are interested in providing peer support, which we are more than happy to have them part of the CF Peer Connect mentor pool. They would just same way join that, click that Join CF Peer Connect button and choose the mentor role. In addition, of course, as I mentioned, the expansion of the program in Spanish, they would just change that English button on the top blue banner to Spanish. And there's directions in Spanish of how to change that language button below Join CF Peer Connect. That's it for the presentation piece in terms of what a CF Peer Connect match looks like in the process, but I am curious if you all have questions or even have participated in CF Peer Connect before.
I just have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I just want to know, is it a peer connect you mentioned only like a 16 years plus only? Or is it like my daughter can connect to another a person who has CF, but she's not 16 actually.
I feel Jillian wants to explain this this workaround. I
You
see
know,
it.
I love this workaround. So that's a really good question. The answer is yes, peers who are matched in a connection have to be 16 years and older. However, we know the importance of young people. I mean, I myself, I have CF, and I'm pretty sure I got into this work because when I was a young person, I found other people with CF via, I mean, this was back when I used like a CD-ROM to get on a chat room with people who had chronic illness. It was moderated. It was so cool, right? But that changed my life as a young person with CF, that I was able to talk to other people for the first time who understood that experience. So it's not just important for adults. However, we have some limitations within our program. So what we do to kind of work around that, if both parents are willing, we would have the parents sign up and kind of monitor that connection, right? So it would be through the parents as peers. Say if you and Jennifer had a child of the same age and you wanted them to connect, you both would sign up and let us know that in the call, of course, and tell us about your child. And we'll try to find somebody who's also got a child of the same age who's willing to help monitor that and foster that connection between young kids. So that's the kind of complicated answer to that question, but I think we've made matches as maybe 8 years old, 12 years old. Sometimes they're just like doing treatments together or on FaceTime, or they want to play a video game online together with their parents' permission, and that's how they connect with one another. I think that's great.
Thank
So
you.
it's
Thank
an
you.
option. Uh-huh.
And on the same, just have a follow-up question on that one. If I have to join as either a CF mentor or we need something CF peer connect, will the identity will be confidential, or will the identity of the person and age and location and everything will be shared with other peer connectors or other mentors or anything kind of, when you say pool of mentors and everything?
Yeah, I can answer, and Claudia, feel free to jump in. All of it, all of the information shared with the CF Peer Connect team in that call is kept confidential. But once we make the match, they get your name and email address. We would give basic information to the mentor when they first get connected, like to give them an idea of who they would be supporting and what this person's looking for in the match. But we leave those details to be shared at your own discretion if you're in a match. And same as a mentor. And we ask both people who are participating in the program, both peer is the word we would use for someone who's requesting support, and the mentor, we'd ask them, please keep any information you learn about them confidential. And we would keep any information that we learn also confidential on our end.
Thank you.
I would just add that we don't share what state you're in or your zip code or any of that. We don't share that, but we do in their profile overview share time zone, what time zone you're in, because that will help scheduling. We've had a lot of, if you don't know the time zone of the person, because our reach is across the US, it can cause some conflicts upon scheduling. So that is something we share, the time zone you're in.
And interestingly, I don't know if this was included in your question, but participants who sign up for the program on the CF Peer Connect website, you're not able to see other participants. Some platforms work that way, and I think there is a feature if we would want to pursue that someday. But as it's set up now, no one can see anyone else in the program. It's not like a self-select kind of thing. It's all kind of behind the scenes where we get to work our magic. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's a great piece about CF Peer Connect in general, is just that individualized piece. We often hear parents and adults with CF come to us and say they've tried Facebook and they've tried Reddit and they've tried so many different avenues and they just don't find their community. And it's because they want that one-on-one interaction. And it's not public facing. We're part of it in the behind the scenes, as Jillian said. But that's part of the reason why I think our program is special, because we work hard to make those connections and keep everything private and allow that one-on-one connection. Tatiana, I did see your go off mute and I jumped on, and I want to make sure I give you space to ask any questions you may have.
You're fine. I don't have any questions. I just want to say that I think that's a really awesome program, because I see a lot of parents on Facebook, on CF page, is trying to connect with somebody, just, to connect their kids, for them just to do treatments together, just like you say, treatments together, play games or do something, because they need that support from the same kid who's going through the same. And I think even maybe you don't know this, but it might help somebody mentally to be in better place than they are when they connect, to find somebody. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's the simple things that are so powerful, right? Just to see somebody else doing a breathing treatment, and that's normal for someone else too. That's powerful. Or taking enzymes, whatever it is that they can share in that experience. Their whole conversation doesn't even have to be about CF, but just to have that little tidbit that they don't get to see from other peers in their daily life. I love that. Yeah, isolation is the worst.
And I would say we haven't used CF Peer Connect, but when our kids were younger and we moved, we made a big move, geographically. I had reached out to the CF Foundation and asked if there was a parent in that area that I could talk with before we moved. So it was kind of a similar thing. It was just wanting questions about the area and different things. So it was but it was very helpful. It was a similar concept, but there wasn't a formal program in place, but it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Somebody.
No, I think this just again, I'm sorry, I'm taking it to total call or anything, but it's really empowered. This program means we had I got my daughter, and we had the first question I posed to doctor, can I have any other parents' contact? And in the doctor's office, because of the confidentiality and everything, unfortunately, they say they have to say no, and totally understood that one. But now I think it's a good level. Means I can't ask doctor, which is not a right question to say, can I please share any other contacts or anything until without. But yeah, I like this program, to be honest. And I want to participate as a mentor also. If someone want to reach me, they should be able to reach me at any time, kind of. But yeah, it's a good thing. On the same note, I just want to I don't want to again take you a CF Foundation, like any. I know you mentioned just like it's like 3 months. After that, it's like peer-to-peer kind of. Do you have any groups forms kind of this is a CF teens groups or a CF adults group or anything they connect on a quarterly basis or anything kind of any programs you have? I'm not sure if that's the right form or not, but if you can post a separate question to later also.
That's an excellent question. I'm smiling really big because that's something that we're working to get off the ground right now. Currently, no ongoing groups for parents, unfortunately, and no ongoing recurring groups for adults with CF, like in a formal sense. But in the past 2 years, so Claudia's main interest is working CF Peer Connect in Spanish. My excitement and interest is around running groups for people with CF and their family members, because we see the benefit. And actually, where Claudia and I sit getting all these intake calls from people who are requesting support, we'll stick our heads together and be like, we've gotten 4 calls this month about this topic. Wouldn't it be cool if we could get all these people together? Because we get to talk to them and they don't necessarily talk to each other in that way, in that group setting. So we see these trends where, wow, it really would be meaningful to gather a group of folks together to talk if anyone's interested in that. So the last 2 years we've piloted some groups and started out with just for adults with CF. And it's my hope that we can expand more to offering something especially for parents of children with CF of any age, because I think there's a desire for that kind of connection as well. So I would say in 2024, that's going to become a formal program. This is not official news, probably that is, groundbreaking, but that will be on the horizon for us in terms of what we can offer the CF community for adults with CF first. And then we've also talked about hosting like a panel kind of event so parents can answer questions, like a ask me anything kind of event, because we just see a real opportunity for more types of connection. Yeah, there's that one-on-one. We offer bigger conferences, like if you've heard of FamilyCon. So that's our team that puts those on. It's virtual conference that happens once a year for families. And I think there's more opportunity there to have events that aren't, we have the bigger event and then the one-on-one connection, what's in between. So that's kind of where we're headed next. While we don't have anything up and running formally now, that work is going to continue and it's going to expand. So we're very excited about that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, there's nothing to say that like Claudia and I, if a group of parents wanted to get together through CF Peer Connect, like we can make a match like that. We can do a kind of connection. Of course, that would be kind of hard to make sure they all came at the same time, but if it's mutually agreed upon, we can try to work around something too. Flexibility. Any other questions? These are great questions. Appreciate all of this.
Something that you mentioned, Jennifer, is the local match. Our reach is throughout the US, and depending how specific it is, we will go through our whole mentor list to find the most personalized match. But if their priority is to find a local connection, Jillian and I have connections with our CFF local chapter who have connections with the care center, we also have connections to the CF community blog and CF community voice that can help us find more local connections. I can't guarantee how close, but at least in the same area, we can definitely make those sort of connections. And I've also heard those connections from adults with CF. Like, what kind of outdoor events have you gone to that are friendly for people with CF, that are outdoor, that it's not too crowded? What restaurants have outdoor seating? Things like that, especially post-COVID, places that they can go and visit. We've also done local matches around that. So definitely can make those kind of requests happen. Those kind of matches happen.
Our approach is never to turn someone away and say we don't have anyone for you. Where we can't promise the moon, because some people want like an exact carbon copy of their situation. So not always realistic. However, most times there's something and someone we can find. If we don't have one, we'll go find someone.
Or create multiple matches.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're committed to that. And I heard, Lakshmi, your offer to your interest to becoming a mentor. And
Yes.
I love that. Yes, we'd love to have you. And want to mention, like, with sometimes needing to search for people, sometimes I would say parents, depending on the age of the child, may wait a little bit. Some mentors may wait a little bit just based on the experiences that people are looking for when those requests come in. So it ebbs and flows. Some people might be in 3 matches in a year, and I would say that's not super common. And some people might wait a while before their first connection because you just never know what kind of requests come in. So that's something that we want to tend to, is our mentors wanting to give back as well. But sometimes mentors also, they're like, I want to talk to somebody too, and we can make matches between mentors as well, which is very fun.
Thank you.
No other questions?
Well, just you mentioned on the you showed the website for how to get involved. Is that to how to request something as a peer or as a mentor, both?
It's the same process now. I think last year the process was different. It was a separate form, but now we've put it all together on our platform. And if you put Join CF Peer Connect, that yellow button that I had shared, you can click which role you're interested in, either to provide peer support or to request peer support. We always prioritize, of course, those requesting peer support. The mentors we onboard every couple months. And this is just for an admin side. It's a lot easier to onboard 5 mentors at a time than to do it one at a time. So there might be, again, a little bit of a wait on the mentor side, but we'll get to you on the next round of mentor onboarding, the next cycle of mentor onboarding. And if these groups ask me anything lunch, the CF Peer Connect mentors are definitely going to be our go-to for hosting those groups. So definitely encourage if you're interested, even if there are highly specific experiences that you have. The more diverse and the more the bigger mentor pool we have, the quicker matches we can make and the more personalized matches we can make. Because recruiting always takes a little bit longer, but if you're already willing and already part of it, definitely helps us and helps get the person peer support quicker.
Yeah, it sounds like a great program. I was curious. I think all of us tend to have a resistance to asking for help. How do you all sort of get past that? You try to just word of mouth or social media, or of course, by the time they're clicking on the button, they're already asking for help. So
Yeah, I think you bring up, Claudia, you jump into two really great points is like awareness, right? So even if you don't feel like you want CF Peer Connect, anybody who's here and listening tonight, if you are involved in other groups, either at your clinic to advocate for folks sharing about it or letting other people with CF know, that's really helpful. We hear from lots of people kind of on the other side of things. Maybe if they become a mentor, they say, I wish I knew about this sooner. But the flip side of that, your point is spot on that people don't always feel willing to reach out, or maybe the honest truth is also sometimes it's hard to connect to other people who are experiencing something so intensely personal that might feel intimidating or scary, to maybe build a connection with another person with CF or their family. And that journey is different for everybody. Sometimes we hear from people that they've heard about it for 2 years from their clinic, that they should reach out. They've been encouraged or they've seen it on social media. That is one way that we try, but could always use more push for sure. But they just didn't feel like the time was right. And yeah, I'll let you add anything, Claudia. It just takes a while sometimes, but I think we don't have the perfect language either to say like requesting a mentor, even that term mentor. Some people see themselves as a mentor. Sometimes people even will sign up for a call with us as a mentor, and in the call it turns out they probably are wanting that connection for themselves more than just waiting to be a mentor.
Yeah, definitely. Something else, it just completely slipped out of my mind. I was ready to jump in. Oh man. It will come to me, but I do think that it can be difficult to ask for help. Yes, it came to me. I knew if I stalled enough, it would come. That our mentors if you're interested in mentoring as well, though, um, we don't expect our mentors to have everything figured out or to have all the questions. And so when they're being connected with someone who's looking for support, of course, if they have the get to the point where they have a call with us, they will realize that our mentors are not experts, nor do they have everything figured out. Our mentors are people who are willing to share their stories and to listen empathetically. They might have some things, down and as life happens in life with CF, especially, a specific challenge can be coming through, and being able to share those challenges and those vulnerabilities and how some of their struggles can actually foster and deepen the connection with the person that they are matched with. And so don't think that when you're connected with someone, you're connected with someone who has all the answers. Definitely not. You're just connecting with someone who's willing to share and to listen. And so I think that's important for both mentors who are interested in requesting support, but also those who are looking for support, to make it the whole process feel a little less intimidating and maybe hopefully a little easier to ask for that help that they are looking for.
Thank you.
Lakshmi, so quick. You're gonna I'm gonna keep an eye out for that mentor form and definitely look forward to another chat with either me or Jillian. Yes, and Amy, I just saw in the chat that the reminders definitely help. I always like, I have a specific soft spot for the Spanish speaking community because I'm really hoping it launches off and we can provide the service. But I do always like to share a story of a Spanish speaking mom who reached out to us. I had done a presentation to her care center maybe back in October of 2022, and she didn't reach out to me till this summer. And she told me, oh, my social worker told me about this, and my social worker told me, and I didn't think I needed it. And now, now I'm calling. It was very clear during that phone call that she could benefit from that peer support, and maybe her social worker saw it months before, but she wasn't quite ready to admit it to herself or to ask for it or to have that phone call with us. But those gentle reminders definitely help, and I'm glad that she eventually did get the courage, and not the courage but also the time or the energy or like whatever barriers she had to overcome to go through the program, because she had great feedback from her match. And she even encouraged her husband to enroll as well. So it's great news when we get people referring each other, right? That word of mouth. But it's also the clinicians that are such a vital piece of keeping that awareness that our program exists. I am curious, Jennifer, if some of your Spanish-speaking people that you're thinking of are bilingual clinicians or care team members, or they're solely Spanish-speaking families, parents, or if they're bilingual parents, those that are interested in Spanish material.
There was a Spanish speaking family, and they don't speak a lot of English. That particular parent who had reached out about this program.
Yeah.
Or it was actually a couple programs ago. They had wondered if we would be offering it in Spanish, and I said no, unfortunately not. But they were planning to come tonight, and that they aren't unable to come. But I will give them the flyer that you sent me, which is in Spanish, and I'll post the one in English too. And then hopefully they'll be able to reach out from that.
Yes. And you can also feel free to share my work number, which can share with you now. It's also on my signature. But if call is easier, I can also verbally explain the program to them and see if they're interested, and also share about some other resources that might be available in Spanish, such as CF Cares events that happen on the East Coast that are available in Spanish.
Okay, sure. I
Awesome.
think this family actually is on the West Coast.
Okay.
I'm
The
positive. I have to
the
go back. I
the
can't.
best thing about Zoom and COVID is they normalize these kind of meetings,
Right.
and anyone is now welcome on those CF Cares events
Mhm.
that happen. Initially, it was just local, and with the pandemic, they expanded and made it something bigger. And so, if they wanted to join that, even though they are on the West Coast, they could.
Okay. I'll reach out to them and give them your contact information because I think they did have some specific needs or interests, and I don't know what they are, but I will.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Thank you.
perfect. Jessica, I do have one more question. If you are able to get off mute, I know you were listening to see if you could carry over any of the like program things to where you are, and curious if you see some, so if there might be an interest for growing the program in Toronto.
I see interest. It's just that our PFAB was kind of COVID took its toll on it, and we had a lot of members leave, and it was just kind of in shambles for a bit. So we're just kind of resurrecting it
Mm-hmm.
and interviewing new members. And a lot of them have said, a lot of them are young too, and they think. So I'm at the adult clinic, and a lot of them are young, and they had just transitioned over from the pediatric clinic, and a lot of them have expressed how much it would have been beneficial to them to have a mentor or a peer to talk to navigate the new clinic.
Mm-hmm.
We're exploring right now, and I think it's something that would really benefit our clinic. And I think the work
Yes.
that you're doing is wonderful. I loved hearing about it.
If you do have any questions and want like our research paper when we started off in 2016, before my time and before Jillian's time, um, when they pushed for it to launch, and they did a they did a trial period and showed the benefits of peer support. Amy Jeffrey, who was leading that project, published something about the benefits of peer support, that if you ever wanted to advocate for starting a program in your area, we can definitely share that with you. That's all for us.
Thank
I'll share. If you do have questions, you can ask Jennifer for our emails. I'll also post them here, so you can reach out to us directly and we can help answer anything that might come up.
Great.
Thank you for all your work supporting the community and sharing.